Alrighty folks, want to welcome you back to another video from Yates Computers Tips and Reviews. So this video is going to probably be part of my security series, and I want to thank everybody for watching. Head on over, hit subscribe, hit the bell, pause this video, come back on over. So for this video, I wanted to talk about a few videos that I've had out. The security type of things, hardware type of things. I have 202.4K hits on one of my videos. It is Secrets of the 3050. That's talking about changing from a solid state drive to an NVMe, some of the issues. I've also had, 1.3K hits or video watches on round and flat cables. That reflects to my end of year video that should just have come up a few weeks ago. Make sure you head on over and watch that. So for this one, I wanted to touch on some of what has been going on lately with a lot of stuff. A lot of tech news, a lot of haters and complainers, and a lot of people, because I've got it on some of my videos. You don't know what you're talking about. I've not had this issue. I had 10 of these computers and I've not had this issue. And then you'll scroll down and you'll have someone else that say, hey, I've had that same issue. I couldn't figure it out. Thank you. I'm going to go apply what you've told me. All of this stuff really needs to stop, because you got to understand one thing. Generations to generations are going to be better than the last generation. That is how it works. This generation learns a lot and passes it on to the next generation, and the next generation learns from that generation. That's how it's always been. But the problem I'm seeing is it's the current generation that thinks they know it all and they know the best ways. Just did a video on making Windows 11 run on every computer. And it's the old-fashioned way of doing it that's making it work. Not downloading third-party software and making cracks and violating all these policies and procedures and laws and rules and copyright stuff so you can install it onto a computer. Well, guess what? You have just violated and maliciously violated all of their coding. What else did that software do? Did it install Trojan horses? Did it install backdoors? Did it install viruses? And here's the key part. Is it installed it in places you cannot fix it. It installed it in core hardware, coding, software that's in the OS. That is supposed to be locked down and secure. You just went in there and changed that and corrupted all of that. You don't know what you just did to your OS. So that's where this becomes a security thing. That's why this video is out there, because that's the new generation. We'll just download and we'll just write these scripts and we'll just do this stuff and we'll just blow through whatever security they have. Who wrote that script? Did you actually verify everything that was going on in that coding? Most people that are running that don't know how to do the coding to start with, to read the coding, because that's the older generation of people. So I wanted to put this warning out there because I see a lot of this going on, and I wanted to put this out there. And again, I don't have a lot of video hits on a lot of videos. A lot of my stuff is pretty simple. But now we're getting into the security side of it, where a lot of people really need to understand the cause and effect of doing some of these things. Understanding what can happen. Why Windows 11 needs the new hardware and needs the newer stuff is still kind of debatable. But what they're trying to stop is all the garbage in the world that's going on with these systems that get hacked, turned into bots, and all this other stuff. This is to prevent a lot of that. If you're going around a lot of those security features, you are the one causing the problems then. You are the ones creating a computer that can be botted. So, wanted to go through and explain that in a way that people understand, because a lot of people are negative about it. I don't like it. I don't want to buy a new computer. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, you don't have to buy a new computer. You can still run Windows 10 and not get the security updates. You can still run your computer. Understanding if you're running your computer as Windows 10 or running it Windows 11 unsupported, you are still running those same risks. And that's what I wanted to sum up. And I know I'll probably get a bunch of hate email and a bunch of hate comments and a bunch of other things on this video, but to understand cause and effect to a lot of this stuff is very important. What happens if you run those scripts? What happens if you alter your core OS coding? If you're into security, you will see security emails, memos, all of this stuff. I get 3 or 4 a day, probably 20 or 50 in a week on vulnerabilities, on software, on all kinds of stuff that's out there. If you are altering your core software, you are probably creating more vulnerabilities by doing that. And you're doing it in a way that nobody's going to monitor and nobody's going to research it, that you could be ransomware and everything else due to what you've done. Being aware of that, knowing that, getting viruses, Trojan horses, backdoors, all this stuff installed in your computer, and you could have it over and over and over and over and over and over again and be dealing with it over and over and over and over and over again. And if it takes you an hour or two to deal with it once, and you have to deal with it 10, 15 times, 20 times, that's a lot of your time. So this is where the security side comes in. And this is what I wanted to press out there and make sure people are aware of. Because this is something that's been going on for a long time. This isn't something new. There's always been cracks, always been patches, always something that you can do for Office or for Windows or for some other software to get around licensing and activation and whatever other little security features there are. Licensing and activation are two different things now. They used to be in the old days. You put in your authorization key, that was your licensing and your authorization. Now you have to put in the security key, and then it has to go out and look at the website and see is that legit, and blah, 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 and then it gives you back your authorization. And now it's getting even ridiculous. On certain software, you actually have to log into their account, have an account registered to that software after you do those other two steps. So I'm sure everybody knows exactly the number one brand out there that's doing this, and it's driving me crazy. Why you got to do all of that, especially in a business environment. That's a pain in the butt. So I'll wrap this one up. I know it's a little short video, but this is the concern I have with the security side. And I want to press that out there because I don't hear anybody talking about it. They'll give you little warnings, they'll mention little things, but this is a dedicated video on that, along with some of the other videos that are out there that go back and research on my channel. There's a lot of information out there. Thank you so much for watching.